Yeah, so we're here at Chuckwalla, and we're just here ripping our Dodge Viper, just tearing this track up, and it's just been so much fun.
Hey, what's going on? Nick Unsworth here, and I'm a kick-ass business coach, and I'm on an absolute mission to help you find your purpose in life, to help you love what you do for work every single day, to help you be the rock star that you are meant to be, to make more money than you ever thought was possible, and to have more time freedom so you can actually enjoy the life that you're living. I'm here to help you set your life on fire.
Yeah, so we got this car. It was really a reward. So we're big into goal setting with Life on Fire, and I've wanted a Viper since I was a little kid, and so just set a big goal, for Life on Fire to break $1 million in revenue. We're gonna get a Dodge Viper. We did, and it's just been so much fun. And so basically, we decided we're gonna come out, track it, and what was pretty wild is that Megan's first day driving it was a day before that we came out to the track.
Yep.
Friday. And so we're just ripping around. There was actually a 16-year-old kid driving around in the same parking lot that Megan was testing this thing out.
It was funny to see the kid going around, like I'm going around in the Dodge Viper this way, the kid's going the opposite way. It was fun, and he's like, all right, you're ready to go. You know how to drive stick, like let's go on the road.
All right, it is go time. Cruising up to the Palm Spring area and ready to rock this track. Chuckwalla, holla. Been driving for about an hour, already chewed through about a quarter of a tank. This thing is a freaking tank.
So we don't really know what to expect. So there's just cars everywhere. We got the car tuned up from this guy, Randy. And so we get here and everyone's lining up. We know that we're supposed to go first thing. We're in the green group. And we know that we're supposed to follow an instructor. But we were under the impression that we were gonna have an instructor in the car. Like the little schedule said it, that's what we thought. So Megan's going first, and so she's expecting the instructor, and she's like, is he coming? And I'm running around kind of freaking out, like asking everyone I could find, like, hey, is there supposed to be an instructor? They're like, no, no instructors. I was like, what? I didn't know what to tell her. I was just kept trying to find people. And all of a sudden, I just remember looking at her being like, I'm sorry, like, there's no one.
I'm like in the car, I have no idea where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do, and I'm like, hey babe, so where's the driver? Like, where's the instructor driver? Is he coming? I'm like, can you please go get me a driver, please? Like holding onto the wheel like this, please? Then we roll up into, what's it called, pit row?
Yeah.
Is it called?
Yeah.
So we're up there, and then he literally is like, so he sat in the instructor car in front of me, and I just had to go, having no idea, driving the Viper the day before for 15 minutes, and then tracking it first thing
on a
Saturday
track,
morning.
600 horsepower car.
No big deal.
What was cool is like you came back and you had fun, but it was still just a little nerve-wracking. So we ran around, we met this guy, Bob Blizzard, met this other guy, Matt, and we basically just kind of like talked to a whole bunch of cool people, and then we ended up getting some drivers. So the second time I got to go out, I had a driver, which was awesome. And so I got to go out, rip around with this guy, Bob, and Bob is just like an animal. He's just like, hit that turn, get to that cone, get to that damn cone. Like, and he's like the sweetest guy, and then in the car, he's just an animal. So Randy's this guy, he lives in San Diego, he has a shop right near where we live, and the nicest guy ever. I mean, he just so generous with his time. I brought the car to the shop, got new tires, he just hooked up all the little things that I needed just to be safe, did the tech inspection, and just constantly was there, like whatever you need, and like just super supportive and helpful, and checking out the tires, and always like testing the torque on the wheels and everything. And so he rolls up to this event, and Mr. White's Eisenberg from Breaking Bad. I think he just somehow bought his RV, this old beater, and he's telling me about it before we were getting up here. He's like, dude, I got this, Eisenberg mobile, and so he comes cranking up in this thing, and it's hilarious. He had the blue ice from the show. He had, these beds. This guy's got to be 6'4", and he's got these beds that are just tiny. He's got a whole crew of awesome guys. They got their own grill, cooking out, hanging out, and he had hazmat suits for Mr. White. But it's just a trip. It's crazy.
The Heisenberg motor.
We're gonna go meet Mr. White.
Oh, yeah. So you guys have fun?
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
you're hooked, right?
Yeah. Megan was crushing past the yellow car. Me passing that instructor yesterday was cool.
So did we have more discussion about that? That's a
So
super no-no.
I saw.
Oh,
he
thought
said
the instructor gave him a point by.
So the instructor puts his hand up, which is exactly what they taught in the class, to pass him.
Yeah.
And so I just say to Bob Blizzard, I say, pass him, and he's like, heck yeah, you pass him.
He's talking to Bob.
And
Bob in the shopping cart goes, I'm gonna pass him.
Yeah. And so I just rip past him, and while I'm ripped past him, Megan's in an instructor car doing a ride along, and then what do you start hearing?
I hear, I don't know what just happened.
No.
Somebody just passed an instructor, and then it was like, it was that red Viper, and there's a couple
They'll
other
shut
red
down the
Vipers.
track
So
for
I
sure,
don't know
yeah.
who it was, and then they're like, oh, he has an instructor in it. I'm like, that's my husband. Like, what's going on? What's happening?
And you're like, I'm passing. I don't care.
Yeah. So what happened? So we ripped past him, and then now I've got Bob, who's just a total lunatic, and he's like, get that f***ing cone, get that. He's like, track left, track right. I said, get that f***ing cone.
Yeah.
And I'm like. And I'm like yanking the wheel on the big bowl, and he grabs my arm and puts it down, and like we get the corner, and I've never felt that like amount of like pressure in the car, and so we're ripping, and no one's behind us, no one's catching us. And when the guy put his arm up, we hadn't seen anyone behind us the whole session, and so we keep ripping, and then all of a sudden, after a couple laps,
Wait a second, are we the only ones?
a couple laps, all of a sudden the instructor that I passed, he just rips past me around a corner, and then hits the brakes. And he got past us, then hits the brakes, and now we're doing like 50. And we're both like, what's going on? And we weren't sure what's up. And then he sped up a little bit, and we finished it off. As soon as we pulled into pit road, Bob Blizzard jumped out, got into another car, and then I pull out to park. So as I go and park,
He gets
He totally did that.
He knows.
He was messing.
so I park, and I'm like,
I want to be Bob someday.
I get out of the car. I'm thinking like,
right here, kid.
I'm like, this is awesome, and I think that they're gonna come over and cheer me out, like that was great. And then they're waving like this. A couple of the Dodge guys, screaming, "What are you doing? Like you could have killed someone. Like you can't be passing instructors, and we're gonna shut down the track." And I'm looking at him like, dude, I'm sorry, I didn't know what to say. I was like, my bad. I'm like, I thought he said to go, and he's like, no, he didn't say to go. And
Why was his hand out the
that's
window?
what I was like. He did the signal.
Put your hand out the window. Point by, or I'm going in. Right? Point by.
Yeah.
You're getting past, or I'm leaving the track. I'm not racing anymore. Go by me.
Yeah, and then I didn't want to throw Blizzard under the bus, but
He wouldn't care.
but I was like, dude, I'm like, I also had an instructor in the car, and he said to go. So, and he's like, that's even worse. He's like, who is the instructor? And then he stormed off. And then this morning I see Bob, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? I was like, dude, that was awesome. We passed the instructor, and he just gave like this big grin, and he's like, these cars are made to go fast, And we also had time to do the autocross.
Yeah.
The autocross is fun, just cones. And I'd love for you to share just like, what was your autocross experience? Because you started at 59 seconds and you shaved it all the way down to what, 40?
40.1. So my first one was 59 seconds. Under a minute though, that's still good. And so I just ripped it more and more and more, and then kept shaving time off. And then the hammer sat in my car and just coached me through how to do the autocross and when to give it more gas, when to brake, when to not do anything, just kind of drift around the turn. So it was really good. So he's like, we're getting you down to this time, and so we got it to 40.1 seconds.
Which is awesome.
Which is really cool. Or like, remind you, I rode on Friday, drove it on Friday.
Yeah, and I don't know where the day ended, but the fastest time up until halfway through the day was 38.1.
Who was the fastest time of the day?
I had the 38.1.
Woo!
Yeah. But that track is fun. I mean, you're constantly just ripping the wheel and turning. And one thing that we kept learning from all the instructors is like smooth is fast. So you just gotta go outside to the inside and back outside, and so we really got the hang of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that, part of like why this is so much fun, and I think like why having a hobby is so amazing, it's like we all work so hard at our jobs and our careers and in life, and it's like we have to take time to just enjoy like all these cool things we can do in life. Like we call it your life on fire list. And I was a little kid that always wanted a Dodge Viper. I was a little kid that always played with Matchbox, and I just always dreamt of being on a track one day. And you know, it takes time to accumulate some cash to be able to do something like this, but it's like, why not have that life on fire list? Why not have that goal and just keep it in your vision and just go after it? And that's all this is it's like we work our butt off, and it was like, you know what, why not work hard, play hard? We'll check this thing off the life on fire list. And now I think we've got a hobby, probably. I'm so glad that you're into it.
Been searching for one.
Yes, we got our hobby. But it's like, it's a couple things. You've gotta, you know, when you work really hard, you have to reward yourself, because otherwise it feels like you're running on E. It's like the reward is like filling back up your tank with fuel, and it's like this car, we could look at it every day and be so proud, because we had so many blood, sweat, and tears that went into building up a company to be able to get this. And you know, having a weekend like this is a memory that we'll never forget, the first time we did this, and that will carry that for the rest of our lives. And that's what a life on fire list is about, is like doing the things that push you, doing the things that scare you, making memories. We call it moments on fire that like you'll never forget. And I just think that doing something like this is so far outside of our comfort zone. And that's what a life on fire is about, is like when you're doing something outside your comfort zone, when you do something that scares you, that's courage. It's like you're doing something despite your fear, and that's where growth happens. And the more and the faster you grow and the more you learn, it's like there's like this sweet spot and zone in life. Like that's what we think of it as, a life on fire.
I'm here to help you set your life on fire.